All right, Robert, it's on.
Oh.
All right, you guys. LaCora Stevens in.
Robert Mitchell.
And we are here with the Yes Show, Young, Entertaining, and Saved, to talk about Preachers of LA. We're starting something new where we're going to review the show.
Right.
So we've been watching it. It's playing in the background. And we're first going to discuss Bishop Ron Jones and his, you got some right here. And I guess his dislike for the relation, how can you
Loretta.
put it? And it's not that he dislikes Loretta. That's not the thing. I guess his disapproval of their relationship. That's a better way to put it. Noel Jones and Loretta's relationship.
Right.
So, what do you say on the matter?
Is that your phone?
It is my phone. I'm sorry.
It's very unprofessional.
Sorry.
Okay. Well, yeah, you know, Ron is very strong about the fact that he feels that Loretta and Bishop Noel Jones should not be carrying on this dating or, you know, we're just friends, you know, act amongst people. However, you know, Bishop ain't got no problem with it. He like, hey, Loretta understands what we have going on, and I understand it.
But
so,
does
you know,
Loretta really understand?
Well,
we see this woman in seasons, well, shows to come, and the woman crying because Ron was like, you ain't never going to get that man. That man ain't never going to marry you. And if she didn't care and if she was okay with it, why would she be crying? Why would she? I think as women, we kind of hang on sometimes. In me and people in general, they hang on to something that they really, really want.
And that's true that she's probably hanging on.
The hope of it. The hope.
But it ain't got to be necessarily a hope of it, because one thing about it, you know, he does have her in the public's eye. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that means that Bishop has a certain regards for this young lady. However, Bishop don't want to be, he's on his own terms and on his own time. And he's not going to let anybody rush him on that. And I can't necessarily blame him on that. And Loretta, yes, anybody that sit there and just keep on pricking is almost like a kid that's about to cry. It's like, oh, what's wrong, baby? What's wrong? You know, they're just going to show out because sometimes they don't even know why they're crying. You just made them feel like they feel something for no reason. But Loretta, I get it. She understands exactly what Noel Jones wants for her. She understands the lines of their relationship. He has not lied to her. So she, like she says, she's a grown woman, so let her be a grown woman.
We're not there when they're there by themselves. We don't know what Bishop Noel Jones is saying to her. Yes, I have you in the spotlight in a sense, but in private, in public, oh, hey, Loretta, this is my close friend for 16 years, but in private, well, you know, just wait for this to pass over, then I promise. You just don't know what's being said.
But that's my point. We don't know, so let's stop assuming like we do know.
You know what, you guys?
My point.
Right here. Point. This is what he says.
The world, having a girlfriend for 16 years and continue to do things with her as if you guys were married.
Unless there's sin that I'm not aware of, I don't see sin in anything.
We don't know that, Jay.
I have no...
Now, right there, he said, I have a problem with the man of your influence being involved with the woman for 16 years and you guys are married. Jay's rebuttal was, well, if there's no sin in it, I don't see anything wrong with it.
And he says, I don't see any sin in it.
I don't see any sin.
You know, so.
And Dietrich was like, but we don't know that but at the end, it's none of my business. Now, there's three things going on right there. Number one, Dietrich, it actually is their business. A lot of people say, oh, it's not my business, but I really think, especially with the man of this cloth, that we should be accountable to each other. But that's the thing, we don't want accountability. We don't want anyone to check us when things go wrong. But so I think, actually, it should be their business. Number two, when Jay says that there's nothing wrong with that if there's no sin, if Noel Jones was just a regular old man and he saw that this woman was around and sticking around, we would have a problem with that. We'll be like, now why that man gone on and making that woman just sit around and waiting around? That ain't right. If you're going to marry her, marry her. If you ain't, just leave her alone. But because it's Bishop Noel Jones that we love so much, we don't find a problem with it. So I actually agree with Bishop Ron Gibson. I do.
But see, this is my thing about it, and this is where I get the problem at. It's not that I disagree with them, and it's not about not being able to take accountability. However, once I have told you the truth, and you know the truth, and you know what it should be, it's out of my hand, then leave it alone. And that's what I'm saying. Y'all acting like Loretta just don't have a brain. Like she's just a rabbit brain or something. And she's not. She's been told. She's been given some discerning messages, and she still chooses to do what she does. And
True.
Bishop has been told as well. He understands what the perception is.
But you know what, Robert?
But hey,
listen,
what?
and y'all know it's the truth, because if somebody likes you, they like you. Them jokers ain't giving up. Y'all had it. Y'all had men in y'all lives. I had men in my lives. Child, just as sappy and sorry as they want to be because they like this little puppy love. And male friends will tell me, why you letting that boy on? Why you thinking? Why you still around, letting him be around, thinking, giving him hope? My friends have checked me on this, and I'm like, you're right. I shouldn't even be around this fella, because I know in his mind he wants something more that I'm not trying to give. But yet at the end of the day, we sit here and make excuses for people that we don't know personally.
It's not making excuses. It has already been stated and already said. Noel, it don't look right. It don't feel right. Loretta, it don't look right and it don't feel right either. And both of them have said, listen, we understand, but we got this. And I say, okay.
All right, well, we're going to move on, because later in this conversation, it moves to Deitrick Haddon and Pastor J.
Right, right.
And I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I don't think that Pastor J was wrong in talking to him about it. He did not come with this confronting attitude.
Yeah, he didn't.
But
he
Dietrich,
didn't.
you were very on the defense about it.
Yes.
And I kind
But we'll talk about that, though, because I get it.
Okay, talk about it.
I get it. Well, you know, I didn't know if
He said, you're not perfect. He said...
No, I'm not fully understanding this whole thing.
Were you born wrapped in swaddling clothes?
Were you wrapped in swaddling
I thought I was
clothing?
trying to help. No. And Dietrich was calling me out for defending him. I don't get that.
I have a reputation of trying to guard. I just didn't want to come over Bishop No Jones.
Pastor J. He's like, I don't get that. Well, get it. If you're going to be on Preachers FLA, you better get it and get it
fast. If you're going to deal with
fast.
Dietrich in this season of his life, you're going to get it.
Yeah, because he's sensitive and he's still healing from some things, I think.
Well, I know that, but see, I was trying to wait to come in because I didn't know if we was going to show
Go
him
ahead.
the next part or not.
Okay, well,
of that conversation with them.
I'll get it. Go to
Okay.
it. Tell me your remarks. And
Well,
I'll
just the
find
point
it.
is, guys, that you know, with Dietrich has experienced a lot of things. He's been burnt and he's been dropped by a few people that actually did have judgmental, I guess what I would say, influences on his life, on his relationship, on everything about him. So he's on defense mode. And a lot of times what happens when a person is on defense mode, a lot of times the good gets sucked in with the bad. And that's what's going on right here. So he's just attacking everybody because he's just feeling from the initial encounter that, oh, it's again somebody just trying to judge me. When really, Dietrich, that's not really what it is.
Right. He was really saying, hey, I thought we were friends. You could have told me I don't feel right about it. How can we make this work? But Dietrich is like, listen, it ain't your business. You can't be doing it. And it's just like, whoa, slow it down. Why can't people just talk as friends? Because I have an issue with you doesn't mean that I'm judging you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you know, and you're right, but it comes from the first season on to now, because Dietrich has always felt attacked by the guys in some way, even though it wasn't specifically certain pastors. However, as a whole, he still feels like, okay, it's me against them. Well, and that's putting him, and it's making him act a little out of order.
Well, the question of the day is, was Pastor J wrong for confronting Deitrick Haddon by saying, you should have let me know that you guys were pregnant again so that I would have made the decision as a man of the cloth who preaches that you should be doing this before you get married? Can I be privy to that information before I marry you?
Right. And what I would say to that is, no, Pastor J was not wrong. And Dietrich, what it should have happened as a man, if you know that you're going to make an announcement on a public platform, yes, as a man, you could have went and had a personal phone call way before we get to this moment of the show and said, well, you know, hey, Pastor J, I just want to let you know, I know it may be a few questions out there about certain things, but me and my wife, you know, this was done in a spiritual way. And it wasn't done, and we was already married.
You're saying after or before?
I'm saying after, but I'm saying shortly after. And the reason the reason why I'm saying that, because he didn't even, we don't know if he did, maybe he told Noel Jones, who was supposed to perform the ceremony.
Right.
You know, so we got to give him the benefit of doubt. the doubt.
Yeah, because Pastor J said he didn't find out until the season aired.
Right.
But I guess in Dietrich's mind, it wasn't a big deal. But people are on different walks, and just because we're Christians, just because we're pastors, does not mean that we all think alike. And we see this evident in Preachers of LA. All pastors, some preachers, well, Dietrich isn't a pastor, but he was, but they all have different ideologies about what should happen and what should not happen. And Pastor J clearly feels that I preach this, therefore I should do this, but you did not give me the option to let me know. And I agree with Pastor J.
Yeah, and I do too, because it's, again, like you say, you're not responsible for how you feel, if I don't know how you feel. And in the Bible, it teaches that if we have an ought with our brother, we're to take it to them.
Exactly.
So
That's
Dietrich
good, Rob. That's good.
Dietrich should have been open enough to at least listen and understand and try to discern where Pastor J was coming from.
Right, but instead,
and he didn't do that.
This is what he did instead. Look.
What are you doing?
I'm just expressing my concern for you.
I'm more concerned about where you're headed, because I've been where you've been. You gotta be careful, man, of that judgmental spirit. It's the same spirit that was in the room today.
I'm not judging you.
It is judging me, Jay.
And see, he's putting on what happened earlier into this very moment.
I've been in a place where I used to judge everybody until life hit me hard. It don't even look good on you.
Me publicly marrying them?
It don't even look good on you.
My reputation.
He's not even listening to what Pastor J is saying.
Right.
He's assuming
You're
what
not perfect, Jay. Stop it.
Do you think I've
you're headed
been
for a fall?
And look, then he told him you're headed for a fall. You can't tell somebody that they're headed for a fall.
Wedding because you
I didn't.
my wife.
No, that's not what I said. I would have done it anyway.
Then why are you asking me?
But I would have made the decision to do it.
I've been dealing
Give
with
me the
judgment
decision,
from
the
people and
option.
self-righteous people attacking me. So for Jay to start casting a dark shadow over my wedding, felt like I was, being judged again.
And see, and that's how Dietrich felt. That's how he felt, but that don't make it
premarital conversation.
Yeah, true.
Empower you guys for a long, healthy marriage.
Let me ask you a question.
I've been married.
Look, what Dietrich says.
Did you have sex before marriage?
Yes, we did.
Good night.
What was the question again, LaCour?
I wouldn't say.
Good night.
Pause this, in case they didn't hear.
Okay, so this joker said, did you and Chrissy have sex, when you were courting her, did y'all have sex before marriage? Like then he put his finger over his mouth like he just said something prolific. And Jay's response was,
yes, we did.
Yes, we did. And Dietrich just, good night, Jay. Good night.
That was Dietrich's point.
As if it was really, but it wasn't valid. There's no validity in that because, as Jay said, I wasn't saved. I wasn't married. Throughout all, I wasn't saved. I was not following Jesus Christ or anything like that. Child, that man was skateboarding and on crack, whatever he was doing. So yeah, you could expect some sex in the skateboard and crack. Absolutely, you can. But with Dietrich, there's no crack. There's no skateboarding. Child, you in the middle of a show, so it's just like.
Right, and Dietrich, I just got to tell you, my brother. The point is, I take accountability. I understand that you do in a lot of ways, but again, it's still certain ways you have to discern certain things. And I think because you're on this defense, that it's like no one can come. If they dress up as a little granny with a tutu and a little big Sunday hat, you're still going. You will knock the lady head off because right now you're so angry because you've experienced so much that again we may not know. Obviously, to me, I can see that Dietrich is hurting.
Right. He's
hurting, but still, it's just like a hurt dog. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times the people that hurt him, it's gone. But the ones that are in front of him now, they're trying to help. But he's biting at the ones that are trying to help right now. Dietrich, put your canines away. Put your canines away and just kind of discern. Pastor J is on your side. He's really not against you.
He really isn't. And you should be happy. You have a beautiful wife, 2 beautiful little girls. The mothers got along, the mother-in-laws and all that stuff. They're along, look at them right here during this scene. We see Dominique talking to her mom. So there's healing. We have to go forward. And it's going to hurt. It's not that easy. Right here, we have to talk about Loretta and Noel Jones.
Then you should be on the same level of him walking out with his wife, and you should be married to me, and if you're not married to me, you can't walk in on that level.
What would change in the ministry part if I had a ring on my finger?
I don't know.
No. You have to know.
How do I have to know? Makes no sense to me, because what he's saying now is that single women are totally locked out of any ministry thing.
Ron,
No, that's not what he's saying.
talking about things that he knows nothing about. He doesn't know the inner workings of people's personal affairs.
Who is Ron Gibson to say, I'm not qualified because I'm single? That is offensive and flat out sexist.
Ron didn't say
Totally
that.
wrong. I think he's out of line for even suggesting the fact that I can't. That's him being negative anyway.
Now,
He's
let me ask you
negative,
this. In
his
spite-
wife is negative, they're all negative.
And just
Oh, wow.
People try to get into my business. I ain't in it. I ain't in it.
Okay.
Amen.
Watch.
This is really upsetting Loretta. She needs to understand that Ron is trying to get a rise out of us.
Now that I'm going to the sip and see, I know Levette is going to be there. And I'm just going to simply say to Levette, you and Ron need to get a life. My business is my business.
Is that it?
Levette going to pay for what Ron said.
Poor Levette.
Do y'all just hear that? So I have a problem with your husband. And I tell my preacher boyfriend friend that I'm going to go to a sip and see, and Levette is going to pay for what Ron said. And my preacher boyfriend says, poor Levette. He doesn't say, listen, that's not your fight. Let it be. Let it alone. That's a nice woman. She didn't do anything. It was Ron. Let me handle it. But instead, you're going to send her out to fight some fight that she ain't got no business fighting. She ain't even got no business to be upset with no Levette. Which Levette is not upset or mean, or she's not like that. She's coming from a motherly place.
It's true, but still, you know, this, again, like I said for Dietrich, this comes from the first season up until now, because still, Loretta still feels that Levette has crossed some different, you know, thresholds of still requesting and asking and suggesting things about her relationship. So it's not just like Sister Levette has no, you know, she ain't totally innocent, because you can see.
Because I'm concerned about you.
But listen, it's
And
all,
I'm saying you
it's
too
all,
fly to
but,
be sitting around
But it's all
waiting.
in perception. It's all in perception. You feel that way, but she don't feel that way. I'm not saying that she's right. I'm just saying that they do look like a tag team. They do look like they're in cahoots together. So yeah, so you know, yeah. So you can you can almost bet if Ron feels that way.
But what do you feel about Pastor Noel Jones or Bishop Noel Jones' response after she just let you know she gonna have it at this at a place where we're about to go see a baby?
I think they are both in cahoots with each other.
Yes.
They're becoming a team, and they're becoming defensive. Just how Dietrich was.
Well, this may just bring them together so she could get that ring on that finger, right?
I know. Hopefully he gets frustrated enough. He like,
Yes.
hey, let me just shut all of this down, you know.
I know.
But I don't know, because Noel looked like he got about 12 more years in him left to wait. So that's to me. So you know.
Well, I think those are like the most important facts that I really wanted to cover from the episode. You guys see at the sip and see that it gets very unattractive between Loretta and the ladies. I'm sure you want to see it, so we'll get to that. So take a look at this.
Over at
Sip and see.
Jones' house.
Loretta came in looking fly, honey. She was ready to lay the heat.
About some of the topics that were discussed, especially about this huge event they want to come together and do.
Now
They
she
all
goes
have their
in.
opinions, especially Pastor Ron.
He's very passionate.
Loretta just happy.
Noel has
She knows.
eyes
She from
for
Compton. She know the deal.
really,
Y'all know when somebody trying to throw a little
all
something.
and
Levette?
everybody
Levette,
together.
yeah.
But apparently your
That's
husband
Loretta.
saw fault in that, and it just didn't sit well with me. He felt like, as a single woman, I have no place in the ministry. He felt like we should be married for me to participate in doing what I do.
That's something that I know my husband has brought up to Bishop Jones before about, you know, you all been going together for this many years, and why don't you marry her?
Why do you feel that Bishop Ron has an issue with Bishop Jones being single or in a relationship?
No, he has no issue with him being single. He has an issue with him in a relationship for 16 years as a man of God, because the Bible teaches that no one can take fire into their bosom and not be burned.
But that's what she wants to do.
Right.
That's her business.
As a Christian leader.
But as a Christian leader, are you
finish.
perfect?
Honey, let's not jump there.
No, we're going to go there.
Let
you
me
know why
ask
we're
my
going to go
first
there?
this little situation here is getting a little bit crazy. Now, I don't even know what Ron said.
Because you said as a Christian leader. So if you're going to come from the leader perspective, so are all leaders perfect?
As a Christian leader,
Okay.
that is not a good look. You
Okay,
bring
let me
about...
interject right there.
Hold on, let me finish my statement. Now let you finish.
You've been talking a long time.
Y'all see that?
Whoa.
Rude.
Whoa.
And what trips me out is that a lot of first ladies be like, yeah, I just can't have people in my circle. If this is the circle you want, child, have it and keep it. It's just like ain't nobody trying to get in that circle.
How you gonna say that though? Because she's not even a first lady, the one you're talking about.
You're right,
so,
she isn't.
Come on.
But I'm just saying, but everyone, they're sitting back and I mean, they are going to interject, but I'm just saying for this to even go on, it's just like, I don't know. It's bothering me.
Can we continue watching,
Yes,
guys?
all right.
Yeah.
Coming up.
Oh,
LA.
Is she wrong for having an opinion?
You can have your opinion, doesn't mean it's right. Don't come telling me about my relationship.
That's not what I'm saying.
You don't have a perfect life, darling.
No.
Whoa.
You really don't.
Look.
Whoa. Does Loretta got some dirt?
Listen, now we could all research some dirt on everybody,
Right.
but the thing is, are they living in the dirt? Are they changing? You know what I mean? Your past is your past.
bring
Let me
about-
interject right there.
Hold on, let me finish my statement. Now let you finish.
You've
bring
been talking
about
a long time.
I'm getting a little frustrated
She wasn't talking that long.
it doesn't
Loretta,
feel
you're
as
wrong.
though Loretta has an ear to listen.
She
You
don't.
bring about questions. Well, if you're this close and you're this in love, then the Bible says you should marry.
You can't speak for God. You can speak and tell me what the Bible says. Until God said so, nothing you can say can change my mind or my heart.
I think Levette is traditional and she's no longer relevant.
I know a lot of people who quote a lot of scripture and turn around and stab you in your face. So I'm not impressed with the Bible quotes.
None of us live by everything the Bible says. None
I
of
already
us.
said that.
But
So if you know
we're trying
that,
to be like
then don't come telling me about my relationship.
That's not
you
what
don't
I'm
have
saying.
a perfect life, darling.
As a
Well,
Christian,
until you do, you have no conversation with me.
No.
You really don't.
Look,
Whoa.
is she wrong for having an opinion?
relax. It's a sipping seat.
You can have your opinion, doesn't mean it's right.
But she can say what she wants.
You know what? And you can too.
Loretta,
Until you can become godlike, until you can become perfect, and none of us can, then you can't cast a stone towards me.
Thank you, Maisha, Lady First Cheney, for saying something. First Lady Cheney. I mean,
This season on Preachers of LA.
too much negative energy, too much. They was all having a good time, patting the baby, drinking on their little sips. She came in with a vengeance. She was looking fly, and she's like, "Hunty," and your husband said, "No, darling, let me finish." It's just like, come on, like, really? And First Lady Levette, I mean,
Levette, yeah.
she's so nice, and she was calm. But y'all know she from Compton, and she could have took it there like Kim Burrell. She could have had a cuss in her spirit, but she handled it with class. You see, and I appreciate that. I really do.
Yeah, because it's because she was caught off guard. That's what it is. She's kind of feeling it out because Ron did kind of put her up on game to kind of expect a little bit because he said the assertiveness
Right, but
of
she
Loretta,
didn't know
but
everything.
that level.
Right, and she was like, she doesn't even know what was said, so
Right,
she
right.
can't even speak fully on the situation. But yet,
Right.
Loretta doesn't know what was said fully, but she's acting like she was there, honey. She was there in the back with her little cup of tea, and she knew everything that was said, and you weren't there. Your
Right.
perception is so off. And I hope after you view this in its entirety, Loretta, you will get it. I hope you will get it, because a lot of times we don't see ourselves. And sometimes you said this, I wish the camera could just follow you around. Robert has said this to me so that I can see myself. And man, that's all I got to say on it. She was wrong.
And yeah, she was. And Loretta, I do hope that she get it. And I believe that she will. But at the point, Loretta, don't think that no one, I can speak for myself, didn't understand that you feel personally attacked as well. Again, she's felt attacked from occasional conversations of the same thing. But you still don't react like that because she was attacking somebody pretty much that was innocent to the emotions of what her husband said. Levette has her own mouth. And if Levette said it, I can understand that.
Right.
But this is Ron, and I understand she's probably like, well, I don't want to be up in a man's face, you know what I'm saying? You know, really with that confrontation.
Well, she should have let Bishop Noel Jones handle it, and Bishop Jones should have let her know, don't you go in there, you just go and worry about the baby. Instead of your response, Pastor Bishop Noel Jones, being, I feel sorry for Levette. No, you should feel sorry for Loretta, because at the end of the day, she's the one hurting you. You guys will see it on the shows up to come, how Ron was like, you ain't never going to get that husband. This man ain't never going to marry you. And she crying and all that stuff. So you guys, that kind of wraps up.
Payback is something, boy.
Preachers of LA Review Season 2, Episode 1. Stay tuned for more.
Yes.
Anything else to say?
No, that's all.
Check us out on Facebook, www.facebook.com/The Yes Show, or on Instagram, Yes Show TV. All right? And the website is www.yesshowtv.com.
Let us know your feedback.
Yes.
Bye.
God bless.